morning, everyone. Welcome to Precise ParkLink's second annual ParkXpo. I'm Alex Boren, the Marketing and Communications Specialist for Precise ParkLink. I hope you're all getting settled in and enjoying the breakfast spread. I see a few familiar faces and a couple new ones at this year's event, which is lovely. On behalf of Precise ParkLink, I would like to say thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us today. We appreciate your attendance and continued support. We have a lot in store for you today. We also have a social media contest paired with the photo backdrop in the foyer. Special thanks to our sponsor, Service Pro, for sponsoring this portion of our event. Precise ParkLink is proud to use Service Pro to monitor our technology and ensure we respond and deploy a suitable solution. I would also like to acknowledge and share thanks to the traditional territories we are on today, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. This land is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. So let's get things started. We have an exciting keynote to kickstart today's event with Sal Rabani, Managing Partner at BDC Bank. Sal has over 17 years of experience in consulting, transactional advisory, and venture deployment. He has a deep understanding of the Canadian innovation ecosystem and its opportunities and challenges. Please give a warm welcome to Sal Rabani.
Good morning, and thank you. Thank you for having me here today. You know, it's truly an honor to be here. My name is Sal Rabani, and I am the managing partner for the advisory services practice at BDC. You know, I didn't hesitate a second when I was asked to do this, when I got the invite from the team at Precise ParkLink. So thank you for inviting me to share some of my thoughts. I'll try my best. Whenever you talk about the economy, it's not necessarily the most exciting, but I think there's some content I hope that you'll appreciate as we walk through. I'd also like to start by saying that I'm very proud of this company, Precise ParkLink. It is a quintessential Canadian entrepreneurial success story. Over the course of 35 years, this is a company that's become a mobility industry leader, present across the country, pioneering world-class technologies and solutions. It's truly an opportunity and an honor to be here and hear about all the great things that is happening in the urban mobility space, mobility intelligence, and all the technological advances that make our transportation and urban development milieu more sustainable, smarter, and better adapted to our needs. And I know this is a company that focuses on innovation, and don't worry, I didn't get paid to say that. I sincerely believe that. So thank you. So look, it's not by accident that I am here today. I represent BDC, an organization that's all about companies like Precise ParkLink, the doers and innovators of our economy, creating jobs and prosperity in their communities. For those who don't know us, BDC is Canada's bank for businesses, but it's also a different kind of a bank. We've been around for 80 years. We're a partner of choice for business owners looking to access financing, capital, and advice that's required to build their businesses. We work with more than 100,000 businesses across Canada in all industries and at all stages of growth. We have a pan-Canadian network of 500 business consultants with industry and sector expertise, and that's my team. I won't read off some of the other pieces around the practice, but what I wanted to share with you is it's a bit of a hidden gem in the Canadian economy. In terms of today, my presentation has 3 parts. First, I'll do a quick overview of the economic situation. Then I'll share the results of a comprehensive research project that we just released a couple of days ago that highlights 4 critical trends shaping Canada's future business landscape. And lastly, if you'll oblige me, I'll share some pointers for the future. You know, it's a bit of an understatement, but things have not been easy for the Canadian economy, Canadian businesses over the past few years. COVID changed a lot of economic dynamics. A whole lot of money was pumped into developed economies to support businesses and households affected by the pandemic. This in turn created extra demand in certain supply chains, and they weren't necessarily ready for it. In basic economics, when demand goes up, but supply stays flat, prices go up. And this is exactly what happened. So governments needed to increase interest rates to bring down spending. That's precisely what happened. And after years of low interest rates, Canadian consumers and businesses suddenly had to get used to operating in a high interest rate environment. So where are we now? Well, after years of restrictive monetary policy, inflation has cooled down, so interest rate cuts can happen. You all saw the 50-point decrease yesterday. The Bank of Canada has cut interest rates 4 times this year, and so this is great news. You know, hopefully improves household and business confidence, among other things. However, we all have to be patient, as we shouldn't expect fast growth overnight, and it's going to take a few months, well, actually months, before the effect of some of these lower rates materialize in the economy. On the positive side, savings remains in good territory. Wages have been increasing through the period of high inflation. Job growth was pretty robust, and despite much higher debt loads, Canadian households are staying afloat. Business investments are also turning the corner, which is good because that was part of the economy that suffered the most in 2023. You know, the gains are not super strong, but they're encouraging and should pick up as interest rate cuts continue. However, you know, due to tighter credit conditions, our BDC economists expect the economy to remain sluggish through to the end of 2024, and our forecast is about 1% for growth this year and 2% growth in 2025. So we look at key sectors. The tech sector has been booming, with tech hubs like Toronto and Vancouver attracting significant investments. I thought to put some emphasis here, you know, what does that mean? What is Canadian tech? It means 45,000 businesses employing about 720,000 people and contributing $105 billion to the country's GDP. Beyond these numbers, almost everything needed to make companies more productive, more efficient, more sustainable comes from technology. If we're to look just at the smart cities initiatives to improve urban living and sustainable travel, I think you got a credible example there. I'm sure we'll hear more from panels and the discussions taking place later on today. While things remain fluid, the commercial real estate market is also evolving with some new investment opportunities in urban development and smart buildings. The natural resources sector continues to be a cornerstone of the economy with innovations in sustainable energy. So in conclusion, the economy will continue to grow, even if it'll be at a slower pace. And I wanted to share with you that this is our view as an organization, and we should have hope and optimism. Moving to the second part of my presentation today, it's the 4 trends that will influence the growth of Canadian businesses. You know, if I had to sum it up in one sentence, it'd be that change continues to remain on the agenda. The next 5 years will be challenging for businesses who will need to keep adapting to some of the challenges in this fast-paced environment. As I mentioned, we conducted a survey which highlighted 4 key trends that will shape the business landscape over the next 5 years. 1, high costs remain a significant concern for businesses. Customer preferences are shifting. The third one is labor shortages will come back. And 4, technology adoption is more important than ever. Now look, I know that these are not new trends, but they're constantly evolving, and they also interact with one another. Also, they impact businesses of all sizes, at all stages of growth, and in all sectors. These 4 trends influence your company's strategy, its sales, and the way you do business. So understanding them, their impact is crucial for business success in the coming years. We surveyed 1,300 business leaders and decision makers to see how they see the future unfolding and the trends impacting their businesses. We also did a survey of 1,500 consumers to come up with these results. And so here are a few things that we've learned. When it comes to high costs, 75% of businesses have obviously felt the impact of these costs, and 71% expect this trend to persist. Second, almost half of all businesses we surveyed anticipate significant shifts in customer preferences ahead. While a slowing economy has eased short-term labor concerns, 88% of businesses think it'll be just as hard or harder to find employees over the next 5 years. And finally, the pace of technological change is accelerating. 82% of companies consider technology critical to their business. So let's look at some of these trends one by one. The price increases that occurred in 2021 and 2022 significantly affected all of us and will continue to impact us over the next 5 years at least. This is the evolution of the Industrial Product Price Index, otherwise known as the IPPI, which tracks the price of products at factory gates. The reason I'm showing you this is to give you an idea. This index increased by 35% over 2 years between September 2020, the onset of the pandemic, and September 2022. The index has never before increased that much in such a short period of time. And while the index has come down, prices remain significantly higher than what would have been if the pre-pandemic trend had continued. Rising inflation forced the central bank to rapidly increase interest rates. And this had the expected effect. And as we can see, inflation has receded if you look at the numbers recently. And as a result, interest rates are coming down. And this trend will continue. You might wonder why this also doesn't lower prices. And I had this conversation yesterday. It just means that prices will grow at a normal rate between 1% and 3% per year. And some products might still cost more. For example, climate change could impact the output of specific agricultural products. One piece of good news is that as rates come down, investing in cost-saving technologies becomes more affordable. And this is an excellent way to protect against future cost pressures. For example, a recent study we undertook showed that 35% of businesses that have implemented something as simple as a chatbot said it helped them reduce costs. And so for businesses, cost-saving technologies can mitigate these pressures. While automation and AI tools can help cut costs and boost efficiency, I'd like to highlight a piece of advice we give our clients. And, it's pretty simple. While you focus on improving business processes first, then consider some of the technology pieces to layer on and figure out those inefficiencies to make sure you get a bang for your buck, if I could say that. Our second trend relates to shifting customer preferences, and this was an interesting one. With higher costs of living and increasing debt loads, consumers are becoming more careful in how they spend their money. While almost half generally seek the lowest possible price when buying goods or services, there are also important nuances. About 2/3 of Canadians are also willing to pay extra for locally produced products, and 50% are willing to pay extra for environmentally friendly products and services. This situation creates some opportunities to attract new customers. For example, adult members of the Gen Z generation, or Zoomers born between 1997 and 2012, are significantly more likely to pay extra for environmentally friendly clothes, shoes, and accessories, restaurants with environmentally friendly practices, green furniture, and groceries. Sometimes the differences are pretty significant. For instance, 71% of Zoomers would pay more for green fashion compared to only 54% for the other generational cohorts. Considering that all Zoomers will be adults by 2030, the market for environmentally friendly products and services will likely continue expanding. So therefore, a commitment to green practices will be a great way forward to attract and retain some of these new customers. Adopting environmental, social, and governance, ESG practices, will also be an imperative. a previous study, we forecasted that 92% of major buyers would require suppliers to disclose at least one ESG criteria by 2024. So reporting on your ESG efforts is increasingly necessary to enter the supply chain of larger companies, but it doesn't have to be complicated. And so here are some of the main ESG criteria that large companies are looking at. One is energy consumption levels. Large organizations are increasingly measuring and reporting their GHG emissions and have low emitting suppliers. Having those is an advantage. DEI practices. This can also help businesses hire and retain employees. And governance to manage environmental risks. The point I'm just really trying to make here is that sustainable practices, that is investing in them, is not only good for the planet, our communities, and our employees, customers, it's also good for your business. The third trend is one that we've been talking about for many years, and it's important to bring up. Despite a slowing economy in 2023 and 2024 and a sharp spike in immigration, labor shortages remain a significant challenge that is expected to persist over the next decade. The Canadian Occupational Projection System projects that 56 occupations will face shortages from 2022 to 2031. The largest number of shortages will occur for the health, natural and applied sciences, and trades, transport, and equipment operators occupation groups. We also looked in our study at top strategies for dealing with labor shortages. I won't go into the details. There's some slides that we can forward across, but some key points. Technology and automation makes it possible to produce more with less employees. It's obvious. Second, a people strategy, competitive compensation, growth opportunities, and a positive culture can help attract and retain talent. And finally, expanding the hiring pool by upskilling candidates through training and forming partnerships with universities and schools and hiring diverse workers can help ease some of the labor and skills shortages. I've been working with businesses for almost 2 decades now, and you'd be surprised how much of a difference these basic business practices can make for the success or failure of a business. And finally, our fourth trend, we all know it, we all see it in our lives, technology is rapidly transforming the business landscape, and we're past the point where adopting new technologies is good advice, it's mandatory. Let's look at some stats. 4 out of 10 companies that think that technology will become critical and will disrupt their way of doing business. 97% of businesses using AI have seen the benefits. And I wanted to take a pause to talk about this. I believe AI not only has the potential to save time and improve efficiency, but it can also positively enhance customer service, growth, forecasting, and marketing efficiency. What I'm trying to make is that technology will continue to be a powerful tool and can unlock loads of opportunities for everyone, regardless of the sector that you find yourself in. I hope you found some of this to be useful. I say this, and I've been saying this for some time now. The world is on the cusp of huge transformations, polarization, increased competition, global conflicts, artificial intelligence, climate change. And here at home, we need to tackle slow growth and the 4 major trends that continue to influence and reshape how we do business. It is high costs, changing customer expectations, labor shortages, and technological disruption. Evolving and interlinked trends. These complexify our business reality. I think I might have just invented a word. So where do we go from here? We have the right ingredients in our country, Canada, a diverse and inclusive society that lives up to its values, an excellent business card. People trust working with us. They trust our products and services. And we have an increased flow of talent from around the world. And the most important advantage of them all, I believe, is the 41 million Canadians who put their skills and energy to the service of Canada, bettering us day after day. I spend my days interacting with businesses from all walks of life, helping them grow and be more competitive. And I've seen many succeed, and I've seen quite a few fail. I've asked myself many times, what makes the champions succeed? What's the recipe? Of course, there's the staple comments of diversifying investments, adopting flexible business models, partnering with leading technology partners to help you stay on top of market trends, consumer needs, and regulatory changes. But I think you need more than that. And there's some patterns and common traits for businesses that succeed that I've found more than others. The first is, you might say go figure, but it's knowing and understanding the big picture, the big trends and big issues and how they impact your business. The 4 trends that we've been talking about. These are tectonic trends that I've outlined fast in a very simple manner. But there's so many ramifications for different industries and markets. So you need to be aware of what's happening around you and the implications for your business. So building a holistic view can really help you make better decisions. The second quality of top performing companies is their capacity to be a market maker. In most situations, 99% of competitors in any industry take whatever the industry hands to them. For example, during a recession or slowdown when the market contracts, 15%, most companies expect and accept that their revenues will drop by 15%. But if you think back, you may have seen one company take advantage of a situation, this situation. Instead of accepting a reduction, they may buy a competitor, or they go on the offensive. They create an opportunity to grow during a crisis. Or the scenario we're in right now, today, with rising costs, this reflex is to either increase prices for products or services and transfer high costs to the customer, becoming less competitive, or to keep prices unchanged, absorbing the costs and impacting your bottom line. Look, I'm not saying one or the other are bad business decisions. I'm just saying that there's another way. That is, look for opportunities to cut costs, embed more technology in your business, and create efficiencies and do more with less. Companies that look beyond the obvious solution are market makers. So how can you become a market maker? Well, I suggest you look at this situation from a different perspective, from all perspectives. And don't do things because you've always done them in a particular way, because that's a particular industry norm. As one business leader put it to me the other day, he said, I know there's a better way, I just haven't found it yet, but I'm working on it. And so really the point I'm trying to make is that the constant pursuit of doing things better and differently is what makes you a market maker. And finally, the third quality all top companies share is resilience. And this is about all of us, people. Resiliency, the ability to recover from difficulty or handle issues as they present themselves. All businesses, all people hit a rough patch. The ability to recover from these difficult situations is what separates winners from losers. And you can do that by having strong leaders that delegate, surround themselves by smart people, by having a healthy people culture that rewards innovation and teamwork. To conclude, I just wanted to share a few things that I talked about a lot of things, but the economy will grow. It'll just be at a slower pace. I hope you remember that. We're going to see increased investments in infrastructure, advancements in technology. I think, all sectors are going to benefit from all of the developments that we talked about and the ability to enhance efficiency, productivity, and service delivery. There's costs, there's labor shortage, customer expectations, and technology adoption that continue to be the 4 big trends we talked about. But to cope with all of this and even thrive amid this uncertainty, all of us in the room need more of these 3 things. One is the know-how. We need to understand the big picture, what's happening around us, including regulatory developments. 2, we need to be market makers, which, have ambition and innovation. And 3, we need resilience, which is just another way to say we need one another. Strong, reliable people with whom you can go far, good times and bad. I think we all have it in us, regardless of what industry we find ourselves or business that we're in or municipality that we represent. We just need to pay attention to it and constantly remind ourselves that these 3 things help us succeed. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, it's an economic presentation. There are never the most fun, but I hope you gained some insights. Happy to take some questions later. Thank you all.